Hello YouTube friends. I'm sitting outside in the pavilion. It's Sunday afternoon, something like the 24th of June, I think. And it's late afternoon, early evening. I'm going to attempt to do this little catch-up video. I say attempt because Sunday is the day that the motorbikes are very, very busy up and down this road here. And also there are fishermen just behind me on the dam. But I've got my little trusty lapel mic on. I've got two cats here. Say hello to this cat. I don't see this cat very often. This is Cat Rita, as opposed to Girl Rita, because my son's girlfriend is called Rita. And but I named Cat Rita before I met Girl Rita. So it's quite confusing sometimes, only a little bit. And then of course we have old dribble pot here. So as I say, I'm going to attempt to do this because I want to do a little catch up about a fantastic event that I went to yesterday. It was absolutely brilliant. I've known this wedding was coming up for months and months, and I've been involved in being part of getting the whole thing ready, along with a huge team of other people. And yesterday the day came, and it was a day like this. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I'll set the scene for you. This wedding was taking place at a place called The Sill. But a couple of years ago, a huge amount of money was invested, and a new visitor centre and youth hostel was built on the site of the old one. And it's called The Sill, S-I-L-L, because of the huge outcrop of rock that typifies that area, that is mostly all those amazing bits of Roman wall, is a rock called the Winsill, W-H-I-N-S-I-L-L, the Winsill. It's a good place for walkers and cyclists and hikers and people who do. So there are people who walk the Roman wall. They do the Hadrian's Wall walk. It's a long way, they do it over several days. And so the Sill is a visitor centre there that would be a place to stop. So the Roman wall, Hadrian's Wall, was a very significant place for the people who were getting married. It just featured in their lives very much. And now that this fantastic new build is there, the place is licensed to do weddings and has big function rooms that we could use for this wedding. So the areas that we used were an outside courtyard, an indoor, what is actually a classroom, but you'll see in a minute that we transformed it into something more than a classroom. And then the room that is usually the cafe, and once the cafe was closed on Saturday afternoon, it was transformed into the place that we could have our party and our food. So when the girls first told me that they were getting married, I knew that this wouldn't be any ordinary wedding. To start with, they're both very creative. They're both teachers, special needs teachers. And Jan is a very, very, very creative person. She inspires me a lot with the work that I do. And so I knew that there would be some very unique decorations being made for this wedding. And so there were. Jan set about making little fluffy woolen pom-poms that she was going to make into bunting. You may have seen it, bunting like that, pom-pom bunting. It's quite popular. Well, she doesn't do anything by halves. And so I think we had maybe 2,000 pom-poms by the time that she had finished them all. And she roped other people into making them. I made a fair few. And her sister, who lives in South Africa, she asked her to make some for her. And her sister Denise came over for the wedding with a suitcase full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds more pom-poms. So this was all made into bunting. It was sewn onto the little flags of bunting. a few weeks ago, I think it was the bank holiday weekend in the end of May, when the girls came here and we sewed bunting, and we sewed pom-poms onto bunting. It was a very creative time. It was a fantastic wedding. They asked me to do a reading, which it was a real pleasure and an honour to be able to be part of their celebration. And I did this beautiful reading, which I think I might just copy it into the description below so that you can read it if you want to. And so that's what this video is going to be about then. I'm sewing some little tiny bits of Indian block printed fabric, and I'm sewing them outside here in the pavilion because it's such a glorious day, and I'm very tired because I didn't get back from the celebrations until after midnight last night, and I don't do well without my sleep. So it's been a very, very low-key day. I wish you could smell these. These are the sweet peas that I planted along the side of the pavilion a few weeks ago, and they smell absolutely sensational. So I have a bunch of sweet peas with me now wherever I go. There's lots of flowers in this celebration yesterday as well. So I'm going to show you the pictures of yesterday's wedding. A whole team of people turned up in the morning to start hanging some of that bunting and getting the flowers arranged, and all the beautiful ideas that the girls had, we started to help put them up. Now if you can see me there, all I'm doing is wandering around. I'm never up a ladder, I'm just pointing at people. And there was some Tracy and Pete, really, really great people from the team helping to do all of this decoration. The flowers were gorgeous. There was a whole team of women who were just busy arranging these beautiful, beautiful flowers. And so here is the bunting and all these tissue paper flowers that were on the backs of each of the chairs. So much bunting, so many pom-poms, so many friendly people helping. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, everybody had a job to do. I think these flowers are gorgeous. They were all over the place. And then outside, this is the courtyard outside, and some of the bigger pom-poms of bunting that were carefully stored on these cardboards so that they wouldn't tangle. They did tangle a little bit. And then here's a couple of friends of mine, David and Ed. Ed up the ladder, David holding the bunting, Ed up the ladder, and they were putting the flags across the outside part, the courtyard. And then we had the band. Look at this. The band then were this really enthusiastic bunch of 6 guys with brass instruments called Backchat Brass, I think they were called. And they played really fantastic, exuberant music while we were all gathering together for the wedding beforehand. And then after the wedding, they, because the sill is built in such a way that there's a big walking ramp all the way up to the top of the building, which has got a beautiful wildflower roof. And they took us by procession all the way to the top of the top of the building where we had some photographs taken and another chance to hear some of their great music. They were brilliant lads. And so then, after the ceremony, and we had a fantastic afternoon tea party. I'll find some of the pictures of the beautiful food. It was so thoughtfully done. But then, the bit that I was looking forward to the whole day, but the bit that I was looking forward to was this silent disco. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to a silent disco, but I couldn't quite grasp the concept of it myself. So, silent disco, each of us were asked to donate our favourite song, and there were headphones that folk could wear, with 3 tracks: blue, red or green. And no one else could hear what you were listening to, but I could see that someone across there had green and I had green, so that we were listening to the same music track. Now, it was amazing. I've taken all the sound off here, because I wonder if you do this when you put headphones on and you think nobody can hear you and you've got headphones with your favourite music on, but you start singing, don't you? Do you? Maybe you do. I do. Well, goodness sake, the out of tune singing and the loud singing, and 3 different tracks. So it was quite a cacophonous noise. So the silent disco then was a massive hit. No one was sitting down. Everybody was really enjoying this. And everyone recognised their own particular song that they'd donated. Anyway, there's some pictures coming up of the silent disco. And the doors at the top of the cafe were open, all the way open. And the view out of the cafe onto the Roman wall and the beautiful rolling hills of Northumberland. It was quite possibly the best venue for a wedding. It really was amazing. So I'm going to show you the silent disco now with no noise. So try to imagine then that 3 different tracks are playing and everyone's dancing to something completely different and singing to something completely different and switching tracks to, if someone else was having a really good dance, you would switch over to blue and see what they were listening to. It was such fun. Great fun. These are Jane's shoes, which added another dimension to all those beautiful lights. So here then is the big group shot. I'm in there somewhere, promise. And then a final thank you from Jan and Jane. What a beautiful day. Back soon with kittens.